about practices of radical release of self-consciousness from the negative behavioral reactions. Tell me please, do you use in the centers practice of self-restriction in their own desires, physical needs realization? Do any methods of conscious regulation of their own physical needs exist? Thank you. Well, I know that many optionally starve at IFAR. Many, if want something, especially when it comes to food, for example, they find motivation not to eat this. The question is quite vague. That is, I don't understand whether you ask this question because you think something supernatural should happen at IFAR, or something unnatural to other people is going on there. Well, there is nothing like that. Everything you apply at home is used at IFAR. If you want to eat, you eat. If you don't want to eat, you don't. If you don't want to do something, you do. The difference consists in this. Because IFAR understands the motive of this. If this is unwillingness to do something, and they accept it as laziness, accept it as the cause which prevents their self-improvement, and they find ways to overcome it. The best way to act when laziness creeps in is to start doing something. To start doing those activities, especially those which you don't want to do. So what are other restrictions? Sleeping. What? Sleeping. Well, such restrictions are also present. But again, everyone acts however they want, because people have come exactly with the goal of self-improvement, but not for anything else. They understand what is right and what is wrong. Prompting here could be only from the standpoint of other people. I had such experience and I had such experience. When I wanted that stuff, I did this thing. When I didn't want that stuff, I did that thing. In this way, own personal experience has been accumulated in dealing with some non-qualitative manifestations or something else. I mean, who wants to eat meat, they eat meat. Who doesn't want to eat meat, they don't eat meat and practice vegetarianism. When they are bored with vegetarianism, they start to eat meat. And someone else stops doing this if he wants. And what about bad habits? They are also kind of... Well, it's clear, but I say once more that, for example, smoking is prohibited at IFAR. That's unambiguous. Drugs are out of question at all. No herbs, no kind of mood-altering drug, whatever. This is nonsense. This never happened in the long 10-year IFAR history. If you want alcohol, go ahead, but there have been instances when a person didn't understand that alcohol is needed only to relax during some holidays, during kind of common events. Then it is acceptable to drink some dry wine, but again, within reasonable limits and for making good cheer. And there were instances when I expelled out of IFAR people for drunkenness. Well, this was long time ago, maybe 5 years or more. I had to expel a person because they have lost sense of proportion in drinking. So, normal people have been living in ordinary way, though with comprehending that they have come here for self-improvement. And everything is beautiful. Everybody is adult. Everyone clearly understands what is right and what is wrong, what is needed, what is more perfect, what is more primitive. That's why everyone finds their own methods, and the rest help others with pleasure. Many experience lack of the will, meaning we talked about the fact that a person wants to quit smoking, but can't. They can't. Therefore the question is posed, good, I'll help you. If you begin to smoke once more, this will be your last day at IFR. That is, a motivation should be present. If a person really wants, they should make the choice whether to keep this habit or to stay at IFR. They chose IFR and that's all.
Вы сказали, что вы помогаете развивать другим людям волю. А для чего это нужно? Почему это так важно?
You said that you help other people to develop will. What is this needed for? Why is this so important? Well, this is important because will is the constituent of intellect of the mind, meaning will is projections. Will is projections of the prefrontal core on the limbic system to creator's demands. And this aspect is very important for the synthesis because we synthesize. In general, all our focus dynamics, which is human, has been built on the synthesis of the attributes of the qualities все-любовь, все-мудрость, all love, all wisdom, which we can associate with altruism, high-feeling altruism. And the second quality is всего всеразума, all will of all intelligence, which we can associate with volitional manifestations, with manifestations of the mind and intellectual intuition, intellect. Therefore, it's simply impossible to develop intellect inside yourself without cultivating volitional aspects in own self-consciousness. So there are methodologies which develop volitional directivity, realizations in exactly volitional decisions. Those are sunny work days practice, IFAR daily routine in itself, which demands concentration of conations of the certain moments. And finally, the Iissiidiology study in itself is the most effective method for will training. That's because usually a person starts to fall asleep at the fifth, sixth paragraph. The brain switches off and is incapable to perceive information on the needed levels. Quite strong volitional factor should be initiated in own self-consciousness to bring oneself to develop further in the Iissiidiology studying. The intuitive perception strengthening has been built and based on this actually. Responsibility is also actual, because this is one of the factors of manifestation in the Luvo-Michesky real human synthesis direction. It implies actualization of the highly sensual intellect, highly intellectual altruism, and immunitant responsibility.